All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate second campus of Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute in Kolkata today. Union Home Ministry constitutes a 3-member committee to probe lapses in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security during Punjab visit. Election Commission hikes expenditure limit for candidates in parliamentary and assembly polls. Cabinet approves signing of MOU with Nepal for construction of a bridge over Mahakali River at Dharchula in Uttarakhand. Uttar Pradesh government announces 50% rebate in electricity bills for private tube wells of farmers. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 149 crore 57 lakh mark. And in cricket, South Africa beat India by 7 wickets in second test to level 3-match series 1-1. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause of concern. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated, as nationwide vaccination of teenagers is also underway now. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the second campus of Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute or CNCI in Kolkata at 1 p.m. today via video conferencing. The second campus of CNCI has been built in line with the Prime Minister's vision to expand and upgrade the health facilities in all parts of the country. CNCI was facing a heavy load of cancer patients and a need for expansion was being felt for some time. This need will be fulfilled through the second campus. The second campus of CNCI has been built at a cost of over 530 crore rupees, out of which around 400 crore rupees have been provided by the Union government and rest by the West Bengal government in the ratio of 75:25. The campus is a 460-bedded comprehensive cancer center unit with cutting-edge infrastructure for cancer diagnosis, staging, treatment and care. The campus is equipped with modern facilities like nuclear medicine, PET, 3.0 Tesla MRI, 128-slice CT scanner, radionuclide therapy unit, endoscopy suite, modern brachytherapy units, etc. The campus will also work as an advanced cancer research facility and will provide comprehensive care to cancer patients, especially those from eastern and northeastern parts of the country. Union Home Ministry has constituted a committee to inquire into the serious lapses in the security arrangements during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Punjab. The 3-member committee will be led by Sudhir Kumar Saxena, Secretary, Security Cabinet Secretariat, and will comprise Balbir Singh, Joint Director IB, and S. Suresh, IG SPG. The committee has been advised to submit the report at the earliest.
The Election Commission has enhanced the existing election expenditure limit for candidates in parliamentary and assembly constituencies. These limits will be applicable in all upcoming elections. The ceiling on parliamentary poll expenditure has been raised from 70 lakh rupees to 95 lakh rupees in bigger states and from 54 lakh rupees to 75 lakh rupees in smaller states. The bigger states include Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Karnataka, and the smaller states include Goa, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Union Territories. The ceiling on poll expenditure in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has been raised to 95 lakh rupees. For assembly constituencies, expenditure limits have been enhanced from 28 lakh rupees to 40 lakh rupees in bigger states and from 20 lakh rupees to 28 lakh rupees in smaller states. The last major revision in the election expenditure limit was carried out in 2014, which was further increased by 10% in 2020. The Election Commission had formed a committee to study the cost factors and other related issues and to make suitable recommendations. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, the CCEA, has approved Intra-State Transmission System Green Energy Corridor Phase 2 yesterday. Briefing media in New Delhi yesterday, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said the scheme will add approximately 10,750 circuit kilometers of transmission lines and around 27,500 mega-volt-ampere transformation capacity of substations.
इंट्रास्टेट ट्रांसमिशन सिस्टम ग्रीन एनर्जी कॉरिडोर के फेज 2 पर लगभग 12,000 करोड़ रुपया खर्च होगा और इस स्कीम के माध्यम से 10,750 सर्किट किलोमीटर ट्रांसमिशन लाइन का निर्माण होगा और लगभग 20 गीगावाट रिन्यूएबल पावर का इवैक्यूएशन किया जाएगा। फेज 2 के अंतर्गत 7 राज्यों में जो कि गुजरात, हिमाचल प्रदेश, कर्नाटक, केरल, उत्तर प्रदेश, तमिलनाडु, राजस्थान, यहाँ पर 10,750 सर्किट किलोमीटर ट्रांसमिशन लाइन का निर्माण होगा। पहले भी जो फेज 1 था उसमें अब तक लगभग 80% काम पूरा हो चुका है। फेज 1 में 10,142 करोड़ रुपए की कुल लागत थी और इनमें 8 राज्यों के लिए स्वीकृति दी गई थी।
The minister informed that the transmission systems will be created over a period of 5 years from the financial year 2021-22 till 2025-26. The scheme will help in achieving the target of 450 gigawatts installed renewable energy capacity by the year 2030. The cabinet has also approved a memorandum of understanding between India and Nepal for the construction of a bridge over Mahakali River at Dharchula. As close neighbors, India and Nepal share unique ties of friendship and cooperation characterized by an open border and deep-rooted people-to-people contacts of kinship and culture. Replying to a media query on the security breach during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Punjab visit, Mr. Anurag Thakur said the Home Ministry is gathering information and will take a tough decision after this.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की सुरक्षा में बहुत बड़ी चूक जो पंजाब में हुई, न्यायालय भी इस पर देख रहा है। होम मिनिस्ट्री ने भी इस पर कार्रवाई करने की बात कही है ताकि जानकारी जुटाने के बाद जो जो कदम उठाने होंगे वो बड़े और कड़े निर्णय जो भी हो वो करेंगे।
India has reiterated that Arunachal Pradesh has always been and will always remain an inalienable part of India. Briefing the media in New Delhi yesterday, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi hoped that instead of engaging in antics like renaming parts of Arunachal Pradesh, China will work constructively with India to resolve the outstanding friction points in areas along the western sector of the LAC in the India-China border areas.
We had seen reports of the Chinese side naming some places in Arunachal Pradesh last week. We had at that time conveyed our views on such a ridiculous exercise to support untenable territorial claims, calling Tuting as Taudang or river Shiom as Shiyuemu or even Kibitu as Daba does not alter the fact that Arunachal Pradesh has always been and will always remain an inalienable part of India. We hope that instead of engaging in such antics, China will work constructively with us to resolve the outstanding friction points in areas along the western sector of the line of actual control in India-China border areas.
Regarding reports of a bridge being made by China on Pangong Lake, Mr. Bagchi said the Indian government is monitoring this closely. He said this bridge is being constructed in areas that have been under illegal occupation by China for around 60 years. He added that the government is taking steps to ensure that India's security interests are protected. On the Chinese embassy writing to Indian MPs on their participation at an event, the spokesperson said the substance, tone and tenor of the letter are inappropriate. He said that India expects the Chinese side to refrain from hyping the normal activities by Indian MPs and further complicate the situation in bilateral relations. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh will inaugurate the 24th Conference on E-Governance 2020-21 in Hyderabad today. The two-day conference themed India's Decade, Digital Governance in a Post-Pandemic World will be organized by the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in association with the Government of Telangana. During the event, National Awards for E-Governance 2021 will be presented under 6 categories to 26 e-governance initiatives at central, state and district levels, and also to academic and research institutions and public sector undertakings. This includes 12 gold, 13 silver and 1 jury award. In the plenary session of the conference, various technology-related discussions will also be held, which would shape digital governance in the future.
In Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist was killed in an encounter with security forces in Zolwa Kralpura Chadura area of Budgam last night. The encounter, which broke out yesterday evening, continued when reports last came in. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate second campus of Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute in Kolkata today. Union Home Ministry constitutes a 3-member committee to probe lapses in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security during Punjab visit. Election Commission hikes expenditure limit for candidates in parliamentary and assembly polls. Cabinet approves signing of MOU with Nepal for construction of a bridge over Mahakali River at Dharchula in Uttarakhand. Uttar Pradesh government announces 50% rebate in electricity bills for private tube wells of farmers. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 149 crore 57 lakh mark. And in cricket, South Africa beat India by 7 wickets in second test to level 3 match series 1-1. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alert.
जिस प्रदेश में हर नियुक्ति 2017 के पहले विवादित होती थी, प्रदेश के नौजवानों के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ होता था, 2017 के बाद 4.5 लाख नियुक्तियां हुई, कोई विवाद नहीं, न भाई भतीजावाद, न क्षेत्रवाद, न जातिवाद।
हमारे नए उत्तर प्रदेश में बिना जातिवाद, बिना भेदभाव युवाओं को मिल रहा रोजगार है, इसीलिए फर्क साफ है। 2017 से पहले कर्ज के बोझ तले दबा था किसान, 2017 के बाद कर्ज माफी से हुआ है खुशहाल, फर्क साफ है। 2017 से पहले रंगदारी के कारण करना पड़ता था पलायन, 2017 के बाद सुरक्षित माहौल में हो रही घर वापसी, फर्क साफ है।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the morning news on All India Radio. In a big relief to farmers, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has announced 50% rebate in power bills of private tube wells used by farmers in the state. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
A press release of the state government says that the decision will come in effect from this month only and cover the metered, unmetered, energy efficient and private tube wells of farmers in rural areas and metered tube wells in urban areas. The decision will affect around 13 lakh farmers of the state directly and put a burden of 1,000 crore rupees per year on the power corporation. According to the proposed new rates, now customers in rural areas will have to pay rupees 1 per unit instead of the present rupees 2 per unit for a metered tube well. For energy efficient tube wells, the rate will be 83 paisa per unit instead of existing 1 rupee 65 paisa per unit. The fixed charge has been brought down to 35 rupees per hour's power instead of 70 rupees for metered connections. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
A 2-day mega conclave of Doordarshan News named Kitna Badla UP is being organized in Lucknow today. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur will take part in the inaugural session of the conclave. The conclave will have different sessions, including one-on-one interactions with political leaders and panel discussions with domain experts on the developmental story of Uttar Pradesh and topics that frame the progress of the state. The conclave will start with Double Engine Ka Tantra, Kya Hai Jeet Ka Mantra, a session focused on the strategy of Bharatiya Janata Party for the upcoming elections in Uttar Pradesh, in which many dignitaries and political personalities will take part. The conclave will be aired on DD News and the regional DD Uttar Pradesh. The conclave will conclude with a special interview of Chief Minister of the state, Yogi Adityanath, tomorrow.
India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed the 149 crore 57 lakh mark. The Union Health Ministry said more than 85 lakh vaccination doses were administered till 7 p.m. yesterday. The ministry said more than 1 crore 64 lakh cumulative doses have been administered among adolescents between the 15 to 18 years age group. We spoke to Dr. N.K. Arora, chairman of COVID Working Group, about the country's vaccination, all set to cross the 150 crore dose mark.
Today is a great day and another great milestone when we will complete administration of 150 crore doses of COVID vaccine to Indians. All the vaccine doses are manufactured in India. This is a matter of great pride. Equally encouraging and heartening news is that during last 4 days, children between the age of 15 and 18 are coming with great enthusiasm and encouragement to get their vaccine, and we hope that the first dose to all our adolescent children should be completed by the end of this month. I will appeal to all the adults who are still left out and have not received any dose of COVID vaccine, and another about 20 crore adults who have received only single dose to come forward and quickly get their second dose as well.
In Bihar, all educational institutions have been closed till the 21st of this month in view of the rising COVID-19 cases. Earlier, students of class 9th onwards were allowed to attend institutions with 50% attendance. Meanwhile, the number of daily COVID cases continue to rise, with 2,379 more people testing positive for the virus during the previous 24 hours. With this, the number of active cases in the state has increased to 5,785.
World Health Organization (WHO) officials have said that the more infectious Omicron variant of COVID-19 appears to produce less severe disease than the globally dominant Delta strain, but should not be categorized as mild. Janet Diaz, WHO lead on clinical management, said early studies showed there was a reduced risk of hospitalization from the variant first identified in Southern Africa and Hong Kong in November compared with Delta. There appears also to be a reduced risk of severity in both younger and older people, she told a media briefing from WHO headquarters in Geneva. In a bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series, Phone-In with Public, Dr. Anup Kumar of Safdarjung Hospital, New Delhi, will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. onwards on the telephone number 011-2342-1230. I repeat, 011-2342-1230 and 011-2342-1764.
The News Services Division brings glimpses of the year that was in our special Year-Ender series. Today we look at the numerous steps taken by the Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry in the year gone by. Divyang-Jans have always been one of the topmost priorities of the Narendra Modi government. Accessible India campaign, or Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan, was launched in 2015 with the aim of making buildings and places accessible for the Divyang-Jan. Provision of features of accessibility such as staircases, ramps, double-height handrails, tactile paths and corridors, wide entry gates, reserved parking and disabled-friendly toilets, accessible elevators are all being made under the campaign. Our correspondent reports that the main areas of focus under the Accessible India campaign are public-centric buildings like schools, hospitals, police station, courts and tourist places.
A total of 1,524 buildings have already been made accessible by providing accessibility features such as ramps, lifts, toilets and parking. These include 1,030 central government buildings and 494 buildings in states and UTs. The focus is on providing accessibility in the infrastructure as well as services of the transportation sector as a whole. Airports, railway stations and bus terminals and services like ticket booking, inquiries and booking status are being made disabled friendly. All 35 international and 55 out of 69 domestic airports have been provided with features of accessibility. Around 1,391 railway stations have been provided with features of accessibility. Over 8,33,000 government and government-aided schools have been made barrier-free with the provision of ramps, handrails and accessible toilets. Suparna Sankya, AIR News, Delhi.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
हिंदियों में बू रहेगी जब तलक ईमान की, तख्ते लंदन पर चलेगी तेग हिंदुस्तान की.
This immortal verse of the last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was the opening of the programs of Azad Hind Radio. After setting up a Free India Center in Berlin, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose started Azad Hind Radio as part of Germany's radio service, which first aired on the 7th of January 1942.
The programs were meant to show solidarity with Indians living abroad, as well as those living in the subcontinent. They included news bulletins transmitted in English, Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, Pashto, Tamil, Persian and Telugu.
हमने जो आजादी की लड़ाई छेड़ रखी है, उसे तब तक जारी रखना होगा जब तक हमें मुकम्मल आजादी हासिल न हो. आप संगठित शक्ति से शांति और अहिंसा पूर्वक आत्म बलिदान करने के लिए जल्द से जल्द तैयार हो जाइए. न मालूम कब बिगुल बज उठे. असंगठित और कमजोर रहना पाप है. गुलामी सब कष्टों और पापों की जड़ है. अब गुलामी की जंजीरों को तोड़ने के लिए एक दिल एक प्राण होकर कटिबद्ध हो जाइए. हिंदुस्तान अब गुलाम नहीं रह सकता और न कोई ताकत इसे गुलाम रख सकती है. हाँ, हमें स्वतंत्रता का मूल्य चुकाना होगा. आप इसके लिए तैयार हो जाइए, जिससे यदि हम गुलाम हिंदुस्तान में पैदा हुए हैं तो स्वतंत्र हिंदुस्तान में जीवे और मरे. तभी आजाद हिंदुस्तान दुनिया को नए नए संदेश दे सकेगा.
Initially based in Germany, its headquarters were shifted to Singapore. Broadcasting from Berlin, Bose celebrated the wave of Japanese victories over British territories and passionately spoke about India's Quit India movement.
Azad Hind Radio aimed to counter the broadcasts of radio from allied nations during World War II.
The 7th of January is also the birth anniversary of freedom fighter and social reformer Gyananjan Neogi. Born in 1891, Gyananjan was strongly influenced by Brahmo ideals and he tried to implement them in life. He was attracted towards the freedom movement when Bengal was partitioned in 1905.
In 1909, Gyananjan Neogi formed the Calcutta Working Men's Institution. Apart from its educational and training activities, it organized medical assistance and carried out development work for the benefit of the poor residents living in slums. He extensively toured the rural areas of Bengal and started using the magic lantern for spreading consciousness amongst the poor and the uneducated sections of society.
In order to promote the use of indigenous materials, he used to organize the Swadeshi Mela. When Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was the mayor of Calcutta from 1930 to 31. He requested Niyogi to organize the Swadeshi campaign.
After independence, when refugees came from East Pakistan, Gyananjan Niyogi put his heart and soul into rehabilitation work. The noble soul breathed his last on the 13th of February 1956.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by the Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has cancelled the authorization certificates of Muthoot Vehicle and Asset Finance Limited and Eco India Financial Services Private Limited for non-compliance of regulatory requirements. Both the payment system operators, PSOs, had authorization for issuance and operation of prepaid payment instruments. The RBI said that following the cancellation of the certificate of authorization, these companies cannot transact the business of issuance and operation of prepaid payment instruments. However, it added that customers or merchants having a valid claim, if any, on these companies as PSOs can approach them for settlement of their claims within 3 years from the date of cancellation.
In cricket, South Africa beat India by 7 wickets in the second test at the Wanderers in Johannesburg last night to level the 3-match series 1-1. Chasing the victory target of 240 runs set by India, South Africa achieved the target in 67.4 overs. In tennis, ace Indian star Sania Mirza and her Ukrainian partner Nadia Kichenok entered the women's doubles semi-finals of the Adelaide International Tournament. The duo beat American Shelby Rogers and Heather Watson of Great Britain yesterday. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have rain or snow. Temperature will hover between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 13 degrees. Leh is likely to have overcast sky. Minimum and maximum temperature will hover between -10 and -3 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have rain or snow. Muzaffarabad will have thunderstorm with rain. National capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. In Mumbai, minimum temperature was 21 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 29 degrees. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. Kolkata had fog in the morning and will have mainly clear sky during the day. Guwahati had fog or mist during early morning hours.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. After 7 months, daily cases surged past 1 lakh, up from 10,000 in just 8 days, reports a top front page headline in the Times of India, adding it took 103 days in first wave, 47 days in second. The Tribune, quoting the Ministry of Home Affairs, writes 3-member panel to probe serious lapses during PM's visit. The paper adds Punjab also sets up probe commission. Cabinet clears 12,000 crore rupees green energy corridor, reports the Hindustan Times. Under the headline, when the going gets tough, companies rewrite factory rules, the Economic Times says manufacturing companies have started to voluntarily cut production, increase number of shifts or reduce shift timings to ensure social distancing in factories and to minimize infection. J&K ex-CMs lose elite cover, force downsized, writes the Indian Express. And finally, rocks from across India displayed in National Geophysical Research Institute campus at Hyderabad, notes the Hindu under the headline First Open Rock Museum inaugurated.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate second campus of Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute in Kolkata today. Union Home Ministry constitutes a 3-member committee to probe lapses in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security during Punjab visit. Election Commission hikes expenditure limit for candidates in parliamentary and assembly polls. Cabinet approved signing of MOU with Nepal for construction of a bridge over Mahakali River at Dharchula in Uttarakhand. Uttar Pradesh government announces 50% rebate in electricity bills for private tube wells of farmers. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 149 crore for 57 lakh mark. And in cricket, South Africa beat India by 7 wickets in second test to level 3 match series 1-1. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.